Hi, everyone, and welcome to the mentorDINO YouTube channel. My name's Caitlin Rossier, and I am a registered architect in the state of Pennsylvania. I want to do a quick introductory video just so you can get to know who I am and what I'm hoping to do with mentorDINO. So mentorDINO is a company that started in 2023, and the website hosts a slew of stories and blog posts, but we also offer training courses. What I learned early in my career is there is a huge gap between architecture education and the real world. And there can be a tough transition in there and actually leads to a lot of people leaving the industry of architecture altogether. And it doesn't need to be that way. We just need to be able to fill in that gap and give people the tools to take control of their career, learn the best way possible for them, and give them real, honest stories from architects, product reps, engineers, and anybody else in the industry to help them learn and grow and gain that confidence. If you have been following our blog posts, I run an architecture registration exam series where I share how people get through the registration exam journey because everybody is very unique and everybody deals with different challenges along the way. So I'll also be highlighting in clumps the different people I highlight on there, but always check out our website. And we post right now 2 ARE stories a week. So check out our blog posts. You can also follow us on Instagram. I will be posting items on there and images so you can stay up to date in the latest and greatest information. The YouTube channel is more about having a discussion. I am one that I am not a huge fan of reading, so I always find it ironic that I started a blog website and deal with writing and putting together stories in that form. So after being on a couple podcasts and just being able to talk to people and have great conversations, I decided to start this YouTube channel. And so that way we can have quick, honest conversations. The point of these videos is going to be trying to be 15, 20 minutes. I want to get you guys the information. We're all super busy. I don't need anything long and drawn out. I will try to have some interviews and panel discussions that may end up being a little bit longer, but hopefully being on YouTube, you can listen while you work or listen while you're traveling. But in the meantime, as I'm building up content, if you are looking for some additional training in your day-to-day workflow, or if you own a firm or a team lead and looking for some additional help onboarding new professionals, having additional training to deal with career transitions, I already have those courses ready to go. And you can check that out on our website, mentordino.com/courses. I have 3 courses I offer right now for young professionals, and they're even meant to be put together in a bundle if you really want to just have your young professionals start off on the right foot and give them that extra leg to hit the ground running. The 3 courses include a Revit CrashCourse. A lot of the times, programs that are used in firms are not taught in the education side. So oftentimes there's even a learning curve just on the program itself, let alone everything else we need to know in the architecture industry. I actually learned Revit back in high school, so I have over 16 years of experience using the program. So I've created a quick crash course, and this is so you can hit the ground running within a day or so. I usually recommend 2 or 3 days to space it out and practice with the tools that I'm showing and sharing you. But it's also a great resource for team leads. If you've been out of the drafting software for so long and you just want to be able to get into the model, see what's going on, or just learn how the model creation happens in Revit, so then you can staff your projects a little bit more efficiently. So the Revit Crash Course is that quick and easy crash course item for you. Then I have the BimWell course, and it expands upon Revit training, but I go beyond just how to model a door. I go into standards on how to dimension properly, how to figure out what your office standards are. Oftentimes we give our young architects or young professionals a brand new manual and say, here's our standards, go figure it out. And for a recent grad, they've got no idea what you're talking about in different line weights because they didn't learn that most of the time in the current education system that we have for colleges. So they need a little bit more education and teaching them through those steps. And oftentimes that leans on your seasoned staff. So BimWell is able to teach them the basics, keep them going, and be able to give them tools to ask very intelligent questions and be able to catch errors that are potentially in the set. I also talk about constructability. So when you're modeling in a door, I talk about how a door is actually framed, the code implications and ADA clearances of a door and which way it swings, and having other additional information in there to get them going. I even have an elevator section. So if this is the first time somebody's putting in an elevator and you want them to have ownership and responsibility of working out all the details with the manufacturer and cross-checking with you, I give them a great tool set, just be able to understand what they need to show, what to expect, some different types of elevators, and different tools that elevator companies have that they can leverage. And oftentimes, you don't even learn the main elevator companies in college. So it's also a great resource that I can give them some manufacturers to start out with that are generally industry standard, and most people have them on their specs. And then I even go into construction management with everything. The best way to note things, how to cloud things on drawings, what revisions and dates mean. Oftentimes, recent graduates don't even know what RFI stands for, and that's request for information, or what a submittal is, what they're looking for in a submittal, and how to even get through a specification and understand the different parts and components. So that's what BimWell does, is it dives more into that information so I can give them the tools to be able to ask better questions that are site specific on your project and get more details. And hopefully you can then step in to go through the site specifics on what you need to do for your project. The third course is a soft skills training course, which is really where my passion lies with mentorDINO. It is the Build Your Foundation course, which is over 20 hours of content and has 4 homework assignments along the way to help challenge them and get them out of their shell when they start their career. Now, these 20 hours aren't meant to be plowed through in a week. It's actually meant to be spread out over a couple months. And if it's for a recent graduate, I honestly wouldn't recommend them starting it till at least they're a month or 2 in. Let them learn Revit or whatever program you use and get up to speed on a project and get comfortable with being in the office, and then set them up on the Build Your Foundation course. And that I even have a recommended schedule. So they have specific courses that are specific lessons that they need to review for each week. And I have specific locations to where those homework assignments come in, and they can always ask me questions. But these courses are meant to teach ownership and responsibility because they're adjusting from full control, big project, no constraints, design and studio to sometimes being the nitty gritty, details drafting, and a little bit more of the grunt work sometimes, but also giving them design opportunities and understand that construction documents is actually a form of art. And it takes time to learn that, and understanding they own particular things, or if they have ownership of a particular portion of the work, to really make sure they have that ownership. I also teach them how to set goals. A lot of young professionals are starting their journey with the AREs, and it can be very overwhelming to start, and it can be very degrading and unmotivating whenever they fail and get through some challenges. So I give them some tips and tools that they can leverage in terms of goal setting. We'll go over other concepts, such as the concept of we, not I, and learning that we as a firm are helping with projects rather than I, which is what they typically would have used in education and presenting their own projects. I give them tips and tools to receive delegation and be able to ask questions properly, be able to formulate their questions, be able to ask and set up meetings on a regular basis with you if you are the one walking them through the project. Different communication skills, teamwork, how to give and receive feedback, tips and tricks on time management, because time can be very hard to balance and get used to in the real world. So I give them some time management tips, but I also go into team management because I feel team management is about the whole team. It's not just about the project manager, the team lead, and the principal in charge. These skills need to be taught early in someone's career. So by the time they are leading a team, they already have that practice and wherewithal and being able to pay attention to their current team leads to see what really works. Also, I give them tips on mentoring, creating a board of directors, and finding mentors and advocates in their career, how to boost their visibility, and how to get through networking events. It can be very scary when you know nobody in a city and you're going to a room full of people, you have no idea who they are. So I also give them some tips and tricks on tackling those. There's a bunch more, so you can always go to our course's website to see the full curriculum, and I even give a sneak peek preview with a snip of the course itself. Now, finally, I do offer a fourth course, and this one is actually for team leads, and it is soft skills and teamwork training for team leads, and that is the Foundation to Leadership course. In this course, I go over very similar things to what I do with the Build Your Foundation course, but I take it a step further. So you should already know the concept of we in an architecture firm. I got rid of concepts like that, but I threw in powerful lessons and going through why we talk about strengths and weaknesses and how to leverage your strengths and how to partner people to fill in where your weaknesses are. I talk about giving and receiving feedback because we're often not times taught how to give feedback properly, that it is effective and useful for a young professional to move forward and give them action items. Have you just gotten feedback saying you're doing great? That's not helpful. That is probably the worst advice you could give somebody because they don't know specifically what they're doing well and what they need to continue. And nobody's perfect. There's always things somebody can improve on. Do they need to work on their meeting minutes a little bit more? Do they need to really take time to review their set before it goes out and check for spelling errors, make sure things are lined up and clean? Do they need to take more time to do things? So you got to set deadlines a little bit earlier. It's different things like that that you need to learn as a team lead to deal with every different individual on your teams. I also talk about stress and burnout in both courses, but for team leads, you really need to understand when people on your team are getting burnout and advocate for them to take a break. And you also need to show through example that you are also taking breaks for yourself and taking care of yourself as well. And then finally, I do go through a little bit more of the coaching style and going through adding little pieces. So the networking component, I do add more information on how for you to teach young professionals how to handle a networking event and how you can actually be a really good guide for a young professional and teach them through going through an event and being that helpful resource. So check out the Build Your Foundation course. Again, all the full descriptions, curriculum, and even a sneak peek preview are all on my website, and you can always reach out to me via email. But I hope you're excited about this journey I'm going to go on with YouTube and just having real discussions with you and also teaching you different areas of architecture, architecture design, and education. So if you have any questions, leave me a comment below. I want to know what questions you want answered, and I'm more than happy to do a video on it, or if I'm not a good person to answer the question, I will find somebody that is, and we will talk about it and have a discussion with each other. So hopefully it gives you the answers you're looking for. So no matter where you are in your journey, if you're even in high school or middle school thinking about going into architecture, what questions do you have about the profession? If you've already taken that step and you're in architecture school and it's not what you expected, or you're curious to how architecture school relates to the real world, or if you're looking to set up a portfolio or getting ready for an interview or job fair, let me know your questions and I'm here to help. And if you're getting used to working in a firm and in that career transition, no, it's not easy. And there's a big learning curve to get through when you start out your career. And so you're not alone. Gain that network and people around you. Ask so many questions and have fun with it. This is meant to be a fun career that is driven by our passions, and that what makes it so unique and why architects are very unique in the industry. And if you're a team lead and just have questions on helping train and guide your staff, I'm always here for that too. You can always check out my courses as well and blog posts. I generally post at least one blog article myself a week, plus the 2 ARE stories. So any part that you're struggling or have questions, leave a comment below. Or if you're not comfortable leaving a comment that has your name on it on YouTube, you can always email me. My email address is in the About section of YouTube. So please don't hesitate to ask me a question. I can always answer it for you privately if it is a private question, or if it's a bigger question that you're just not comfortable asking in the interweb for everybody to see, you can always do that as well. So I hope you guys enjoy this channel and everything I have lined up.